Hello, friends. It's your girl, Denise Antoinette.
And Amber Monique.
Here with another episode of
Sip
Sip
and
and
Spill.
Spill. I know it's been a while, but we have some goodies for you.
We do. So today, we are back talking about an epidemic that seems to be occurring, and we just need some answers. And that is the epidemic of men standing women up on dates that they plan and set up.
Sure do.
So, we're just going to share some experiences and get into it. So, stay tuned.
Stay tuned. So, I guess I'll start.
Okay.
So, I was telling Amber about how recently I was asked on a date. And only people close to me really know this, but I have not been on a date since my ex and I broke up, which was like the end of last year. So it's been a pretty long while, which I'm fine with, but whatever. Mm-hmm. So I had a disaster occur the day before this gentleman asked me to go on this date. So I was like, the day of the date, when he asked me to go, he had asked me a few times and I was like, but I finally agreed, so I was like, whatever. And so, I said, whatever, why not? Like, why not give it a shot?
Right.
Plus, we had hung out a few times, not on like a date sense, but more of like a friendship type thing. Mm-hmm. He was cool to hang out with. Like, it's like, whatever, let's actually go on an actual date this time.
Right.
So, he asked me to go see this movie. Now, I never heard of this movie a day of my life, but he was real adamant on taking me to go see this movie, said he was going to get the tickets, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So, as time is going by, I start getting sleepy because we never confirmed an exact time for the movie. So I had texted him like, hey, can we reschedule? I'm getting tired, and he's like, oh, I'm already on my way up there, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, well, if you're already on your way up here, that's fine. I just thought you were still sitting in the house. Because, mind you, he lives 30 minutes away from where I live at, and he's not from this area. So he knows nothing about this area. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, if you're on your way here, that's fine. Because I wouldn't want somebody who's not from here to come up here. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to go anymore. Right. So, whatever. So, some time goes by, and he asked me to send him the address to the movie theater. He had to stop to pick some things up from his friend's house, and then he would meet me there. So, I'm like, okay, cool. So, I send him the address to the movie theater. I go home, and I change because that day, I remember I had, like, shorts on, and it rained all day long. And I was like, let me put some jeans on. It's about to be chilly. I don't know what this movie's about. So let me just make sure I'm comfortable. Mm-hmm. So then the movie was scheduled to start at 10:30. He texted me at approximately, I want to say 9:15, 9:30, like, hey, I'm on my way. So I'm like, okay. So I knew him well enough to know that when he says I'm on my way, that means he's really not leaving for 10 more minutes. Mm-hmm. So I waited 10 minutes and then I left. So I left to go up there because I think what happened, it was behind, the backstory doesn't really matter, but basically we were supposed to go to dinner. Some things happened, changed. We decided we were just going to eat and watch the movie at the movie theater. Blah. So I get to the movie theater and he texts me while I was like on my way there. And he's like, hey, if you get there before me, do you mind grabbing the tickets? So I'm thinking maybe this movie is like going to be sold out and he's concerned like it's a popular movie that I just didn't know about. Like, so I'm like, okay, I'll grab the tickets. And I'm assuming since he said he was going to take me to the movie and he said he would get me the tickets, that he was going to pay me back.
You would assume.
Yeah, I would assume that, So, since that was the understanding, because I never heard of this movie a day of my life. I just want to emphasize that I never heard of this movie until that day. So, we get to the movie theater. I'm sorry, I can't believe I said we. Really played myself in that one. So, I get to the movie theater. I got there at 10:02. I'm sorry. Yeah, actually, it was exactly 10:02 because that was the last text message I got from him was at 10:02 p.m. Mind you, the movie starts at 10:30. So 10:02 p.m. I get there. I grab our tickets. And I'm waiting a few minutes, and I'm like, well, I'm kind of hungry because I didn't eat today. Mm-hmm. So I go to the concession stand, and I just get popcorn and a slushie in case, he wanted to get some real food. But I'm like, this will hold me over for a little bit. Mm-hmm. So then I look at the clock, and it's like 10:15. Now, I know me, I never rush to the movie. So I'm like, okay, maybe he's just running behind, whatever. So I'm texting him, calling him, no answer. So I'm starting to get worried, but I'm like, I text him like, hey, I'm going to hold our seats. So I go. I go into the movie theater. Empty. Not a soul in the theater. So I'm like, so he asked me to buy tickets to a movie nobody wants to see. At all. It was not one human being to be found. I couldn't even find an employee in that movie theater. It was nobody in that theater except me. So I'm like, whatever, at least I'll get a good seat, So I get a seat right in the middle, in the back, wherever I want, prop my legs up. Previews is my favorite part of movies anyway. So I'm like, okay, eat some popcorn. Mm-hmm. So then, now it's 10:30. So I'm like, okay, now I'm worried. Like, did he get pulled over? Like, is he in trouble? What's going on? So I'm texting him, calling him. No answer. And so the previews start. So I'm sitting here, I'm like halfway through my bag of popcorn by the time the third preview comes on. So I'm just sitting here watching the previews, and then the previews took up maybe 25 minutes. So now it's like 10:55, almost 11 p.m. I have to work the next day, and I've never heard of this movie before, and I found out while I was in line from other people that this was a sequel. So I was coming to see the second movie, and I never even heard of the first. So I did not know what was going on. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to leave now. So I packed my stuff up, and I kept calling, like I texted him and was like, I'm leaving. And then I left the theater, like threw my popcorn and slushie out, went in my car and drove home. And I was highly, highly upset.
As you should have been.
So then, the icing on the cake, next morning, 5 a.m., I get a text message with this 8-page letter explaining why he didn't come to the theater. And you know what? His explanation was so stupid that I think I really believe he told me the truth. Mm-hmm. And in that instance, this is going to sound real bad, I would have preferred him to lie. I would have felt so much better if he just lied to me, because what he told me was so ridiculous that I'm like, he can't be lying.
Nah, that had to be the truth, because I don't even know how you could make that up.
It was ridiculous. It was like, I don't even want to go into the details. I just want y'all to know that it was so ridiculous that it had to be the truth, because
I'm surprised he wasn't embarrassed to say it though.
Thank you. It was so stupid. He left his phone on the car, drove off, heard the word home, went home because he didn't know how to get to the theater now because he drove off with his phone on top of the hood. And I'm thinking to myself, well, how the heck did you figure out how to get home? Because you're not from here. It made no sense at all. But it was so dumb that I really think, because I feel like if he was lying, he would have said something with his mom happened, the cops pulled him over, he went to jail overnight and just got out. Something massive would have happened if it was a lie. This was so stupid that it had to be the truth.
Had to be.
Yeah, and so yeah, that's my dating. I'm done. I don't want to go out on any more dates. I gave it a shot.
You can't.
And I'm done.
No, that's not the
I gave it a try. Okay?
But this is what y'all men do, because I know somebody else that this happened to recently. She drove a whole hour and got split up.
Hers was worse.
Yeah, but she's saying the same thing. like she was saying, I'm done. But you can't say that just because you meet like a couple of losers. Well, no disrespect, but
no, you got to be that. The story he told me, you need Jesus to come back from that.
And I believe that young man is sorry. But
and he ain't that young.
But, well, whatever.
He's like 10 years older than me. I'm not trying to hear that.
That makes it even worse. But I believe he's sorry. So
yeah, he apologized. No, that don't mean nothing.
But this is what y'all do with the carelessness, and I want to know: is it because you? Well, in that case, we know his story, but other stories.
No, we don't, because it's so stupid, Amber. It makes no sense.
Really, what's the logic? Do y'all just say, I don't know how to say I don't want to do this anymore, so I'm just not going to show up? Or maybe if I just go ghost, they won't actually show? Or do y'all do it to be mean? Do you think that it's going to like intrigue their interest even more? Why do y'all do it? I don't understand.
I just want to ask the young man or any young man who has put a woman through the scenario that I went through, why on earth would you plan something for somebody to go to that they did not want to go? I told him I did not want to go to that movie. I never heard of the daggone movie. Why would I want to go to see a movie I never heard of? Like, it's just, I'm sorry. Back to my question. Why would you put yourself in a predicament? Because he put himself in a predicament where he could not come to the date that he planned for us. Why would you do that? That just does not make sense to me. You should be clear-minded enough to know, and I'll be honest with y'all, he got high. He got super high and completely lost his train of thought. Why would you get that high when you're supposed to go on a date with somebody that you planned and put them in a weird predicament and then put yourself in that predicament?
That's the thing. You don't, once you do that, you don't get a second chance. Ladies, don't give anybody.
He would have been better off lying, Amber. Yeah. I know that sounds horrible, but it's the truth.
There's no coming back from that.
What if that was your daughter? What would you tell her?
Yes, exactly.
Seriously.
That's what I have to think.
Then my mom will talk about something. Oh, he's sorry.
I believe he is sorry.
I do believe he's sorry.
But
that's still, to me, it's unforgivable. Yeah. You put yourself in a predicament that left me looking like an idiot and paying for 2 tickets to a movie I didn't want to see. Then I had to buy popcorn for dinner. I could have went to Applebee's across the street. I could have went to Hula Hands. I could have cooked myself something to eat at home because I was minding my business and had food to cook at home. But no, I went to the movie theater with this fool to leave me there for no daggone reason.
He made so many mistakes like that. Asking you to buy the tickets, he knew what he had going on. So he probably knew at that moment that he may not get to the theater. So why would he say, buy the tickets? Like, what was the logic behind? He just made so many mistakes in that whole situation. Why exactly? He know that wasn't his first time getting high. I'm sure.
This is therapeutic for me right now because I've been holding this in for a while, and like I just got all my frustrations out. I just really want to know, like I really do, like I just really want to know why would you do that, and then on top of that, think telling me you're sorry is going to make me ever want to go out with you again.
Would you have rather him just disappeared than to have the nerve to hit you up the next morning? I'm trying to think what I would
that's hard. So, okay, let me take this back. I feel like I would be able to be friends with him again because of that. Because of the fact that he was man enough to come back and apologize. And he told me the truth. Because I promise y'all, that story, if I still didn't have a slight bit of respect for him, I would screenshot that dumbass message he sent me and put it on this video so y'all can see that shit. It made no sense. I mean, none. But the fact that he was man enough to own up to what he did, he apologized multiple times. He FaceTimed me from a number I didn't know. He probably did that on purpose because had he FaceTimed me from his real number, I probably wouldn't have answered, to be honest. But, apologize. That is the only reason I would probably consider being his friend. But dating, that's dead. Yeah. It's done. That's done.
Because I'm thinking if I did somebody like that, I don't even know if I would have the nerve to reach out to them the next day. Like, think of the nerve that takes. So it did take some nerve.
I honestly feel like if I did that to somebody, I wouldn't. It's hard for me to say that because I would never put myself in that predicament.
Right.
Like with your situation where it sounds like, I'm not your, but your friend's situation where it sounds like the dude just was disinterested, then if I was in that scenario, then no, I wouldn't speak to them again. Like if I just left somebody because of whatever reason I wasn't interested or nothing like that, and I just left them there and stood them up like legitimately, then no, I wouldn't hit them up. But in my situation,
because with the person I'm talking about, she never heard.
Go ahead and go into that story.
I know she wouldn't want me to say too many details, but I can say she never heard from that guy again. So like the next day happened, never hit her up. She can see that he's still existing online and stuff. He's still living his life, but like he hasn't contacted her in any way. She reached out to him and said how she felt, and he didn't reply. So I could see why she would never, like, it's not even a thought. Leave that alone. I don't even know if I would have had it in me to reach out to him again. But he deserved to hear that he basically wasn't shit.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Right. Especially because, like you said earlier, she drove, like, a ways to get there. So that was just disrespectful.
Yeah, totally.
So in that sense, I feel like he didn't have any intent on reaching out to her. And I just feel like that's so rude. And I've actually heard stories of this before of like guys who like, not to say your friend catfished him, but I've heard of stories where like guys will meet a girl online or through like a dating app.
Right.
And then when they get to the place, she looks different than what she looks like online. So this one guy, I mean, I didn't know him, but he was like a friend of a friend of a friend. Yeah. And he was saying when we were all together how he left this girl at the... I'm sorry, it's not funny. He left this girl at the bar because she online looked completely different, like significantly different. Like didn't even look like the same person. And so the reason he figured out it was her was because he noticed that in the pictures, I forget what it was, but it was something about her phone, like the case was purple or something. He recognized it. Right. So he asked the waitress to ask her name. Yeah. And she did, and she asked if she was waiting on somebody, and she said she was and said his name. And so he was like, "No," and left.
See that?
And I was like, that I feel like it's wrong on both ends. She's wrong for putting herself on the internet looking completely different than how she actually looks. But at the same time, like, you could have still went.
Because that's the risk you take when you meet someone online. Yeah. People look different in pictures. So that is the risk you take. And if you agree to that date, I feel like you just have to sit there and bear through it. Yeah. And if you don't want to see them again, that's one thing.
Yeah, and I can respect that. Like, but just that's foul. That's heartless.
That is foul.
I know, like, he was like, "Nah, man, she lied, she this," and I understand being upset, but like, I don't know. I feel like you should still.
I get his disappointment, but at the same time, that's the risk you take when you meet somebody on the internet. You never know.
Yeah, that's true.
So you gotta sit.
Because I do also know of like an old friend of mine. He was in that scenario where he was on Tinder and he was talking to this girl, and then when they met up, that she didn't look as she looked kind of like her pictures, but you could tell her pictures were like a whole different point in her life, like maybe 15 years ago. Right. And so like when he met up with her, she didn't look anywhere close to how she looked in her pictures. So, but he still like went on the date with her. He just after that was like disinterested.
Well, that's respectable.
But at least he sat through with her. But then I think of the show Catfish, and it's like I don't know, like because you don't know how long these people been talking. That's true. It's like if I've been talking to somebody that long and they tricked me like that, I would be highly upset. But at the same time, I feel like if you get catfished in this era, you're an idiot. You have FaceTime, Skype, Insta story,
exactly,
Snapchat, like Twitter even got videos. Like
really, only so much time should go by before you are able to be catfished. Like if it's been like 3 months and you've yet to like see what this person looks like in any real form or way, then you should be concerned. Yeah. Or at least hear their voice or...
Yeah, like... No, hearing their voice isn't enough. I need like a video.
Yeah.
I need to see you in movement talking. Like
proof that like the rest
live
of the world knows
too.
who
Like,
they are. Confirmation.
right.
Like
yeah.
You
Because
know?
it's like they gotta have like friends on like
Yeah.
Instagram and Facebook
Something.
and
Exactly.
you just So that one's kind of on the fence for me. I understand both sides of the story, but it's still rude. Like I feel like he could have at least sat with her,
Yeah.
or he could have at least said hi and then left.
No, that's even worse. That would be. I would rather somebody just leave if they're going to leave than say hi.
That's true.
That's even worse.
That's true.
That's terrible.
Well, how would you react if you had gotten stood up?
I don't think I would have tolerance for it, just knowing how I am. I don't think that, it depends, I guess. Like, maybe if it was someone that I kind of knew and had somewhat of a friendship with, then maybe I would hear them out, but I'm definitely not, like, that's it. It would be no second chance or anything like that. But if it was somebody, say I met somebody online and they did that to me, I wouldn't even,
That's dumb.
No, I would block, and that's it.
So if it was like somebody who was like a friend type thing, would you give them a second chance after that?
It depends on their story. Like, if it's really good and it sounds like, and I could understand it, like, if you say, oh, you know, my mom got sick, I mean, but there's phones, and there's always, like, a way to call. So no matter what you say, it's really going to be hard for me to understand. No, I can't see it. I can't see it.
You would legit have to have gotten pulled over and taken into the, like, police station.
That's about the only
and you weren't wrong in this scenario. You was just driving while black.
Right.
And it'd have to be real believable because, or if it is believable, it needs to be a story I find worthy enough to take my time again.
Yeah, it'd have to be some crazy kind of story. Cause I can't even come up with
a heck of one. The one I got, I'm telling you, I'm done. Like, I know that sounds ridiculous, but I am done. See, I don't want to no. That was literally the first date. The first date.
He ruined the whole
first date. My first, dating experience since I've been single. And it's been maybe 8 months, 7 months, around that. Yeah, it's a wrap. I'm done.
No, don't be done. But my thing with him is, I could see being done because I believe his story, but he was so careless and irresponsible to get to the point where he missed the date that just speaks a lot to his character. And you said he's older.
Yeah.
So I just don't understand why he was in that kind of predicament. It just says a lot about
if you're going to get in that type of predicament, make it to the date first. Don't get that torn up before you're supposed to meet up with the person.
If he even showed up, I'm sure you would have been irritated with him being that high anyway. Why did he have to get that high with y'all's first, real date? Unless he's a functional high person.
I probably wouldn't, because I've been around him high before, where he was high before. So that wouldn't have bothered me. It's just, why would you get yourself in that type of predicament? That's what boggles my mind. Kind of like you said, that speaks a lot.
Maybe he was nervous and he just was trying to calm his nerves and it didn't go right. Maybe that's what happened. I don't know, but he kind of messed up, I think.
Yeah, y'all. I'm sorry. If anybody was interested, just don't holler at me now.
No, that's
Give
not
me a year and then I'll be back on track. I think maybe not. Catch me off guard. Hit me up like you try to be my friend. And then maybe 6 months down the line or more, we can go on a date friendly occasion.
Don't let him ruin it for you.
To Hershey Park or something. Because I'm done. That was one and done for me. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. I gave it a shot, and this life just ain't for me. So
comment down below and say if you think she should be done or not. I say no. I say done with him, but not done.
It's a wrap.
No.
Throw it in the river. It's a wrap. wraps up today's episode. We were supposed to be talking about being stood up, but I really needed to get that off my chest because I've been holding that in for a while, and this was therapeutic for me to finally get it out. I feel so much better, and I'm even more content with being done. Lord. So, thank you so much for watching. If you have any stories you want to share about your experiences of being stood up, any guys who've been stood up, comment down below. Or if you're on the flip and you stood somebody up, but you feel like you had a legitimate reason, comment down below and let us know. And we'll let you guys be the jury of was that a good reason or not. So, thanks again for watching. Make sure you subscribe to us. We finally are up on iTunes with the audio portion that you've been asking for. We're on SoundCloud. And, of course, we're on YouTube. So, thanks again. Until next time, deuces.